What's up, guys? We are back finally once again, and we are going to be talking about Venom Let There Be Carnage. Now, I will say I was wanting to see this in theaters. Sadly, it did not work out that way. I watched it another way, but I want to go ahead and I'm just going to get this out in the clear. There's been a lot of rumors of Venom being this, Venom being, oh, it's not this, or it's too comical, or it's a coming out party, or this, that, and the other. And I'm going to say this right now. First off, if you hate the movie, that's your right. Don't bash it for other people. If you love it, okay, great. If you watched it for certain other reasons, fine, you have your reason. But me personally, I watched Venom because I am a fan of the character and I enjoyed the first movie. And this one I did enjoy as well. I really did enjoy this one. At the same time, was there issues with this one? Yes, it was. Now, in the entirety of this movie is basically Venom and Eddie trying to live together without getting, I would say, basically getting used to one another, because in the entirety we don't know how long it's been since, I would say, the first movie. And what happens is that we see where Eddie's still trying to deal with having Venom inside of him, and then Venom also trying to use Eddie, as a host, because again, he cannot live without Eddie, and Eddie cannot live without him. And in the entirety, Eddie's trying to make rules, and Venom's trying to, do his thing. And in the entirety, they go back and forth bantering about, who's right and who's wrong. And Eddie, of course, has his rules, and if Venom does not obey those rules, then again, there's going to be problems. So again, Eddie is on the bottom, and then he goes back on top after his recent interview with Cletus Cassidy, due to the fact of he releases everything he did, and as well as putting out the information, finding out where all his bodies were, again with the help of Venom, and he uses that to his advantage. And so Eddie is able to get a little more recognition due to everything that is going on. Now, what we also see is Venom gets a little upset because he's not using that for him. He's like, oh, why aren't you, saying anything? Why aren't you doing this? And he says, you could be getting with Annie. And then, of course, later on in the movie where it gets shown, hey, we're going to talk to Annie. But at the same time, we find out that she's going to be marrying that one Dan that we saw in the first film, which again was pretty predictable that, she was going to be marrying him for multiple reasons. Because I guess she just can't handle being with Eddie due to of how his life is. Now, again, we all know that was going to happen. Again, Eddie's feeling the pain. Venom is able to sense it, tries to cheer him up. Then, of course, with Cletus Cassidy, we find out a little more about him in the movie, which again, they stuck to the comics on him killing his mother, his father, his grandmother, which later we found out that they were abusive. And then he met Shriek, which again, this is going to be the thing here. And the entirety of the movie is where Carnage / Cletus Cassidy is trying to get to Shriek. Now, again, Shriek was not as important as I would have hoped she would have been, because in the comics, she's supposed to be the offspring of Carnage, and again, that's not how they did that. Again, Shriek was more of someone born with powers. They didn't explain the reason why, as well as also they had her and Cletus in a love interest, which again did not make a lot of sense, because again, I don't really remember them being in a relationship, and Cletus being one of those characters that all he cared about was himself. He didn't care about anything or anyone. As long as he was able to kill, and as long as he was able to make life hell for other people, then he did not care. And he was a murderer. He was a serial killer. He was out of his mind. And again, I think that's the main problem that I think I had with this, was because they did not really focus on that too much. They were more focusing on that relationship between him and Shriek. And the whole time, all he cared about was the symbiote, and he cared about himself and what he wanted to do to the next person, how to hurt them, how to, do all these horrible things. But then at the same time, Carnage, he couldn't stand Shriek because, of course, every time she, opened up her mouth to scream, obviously it was going to cause him pain, just like it would cause Venom pain. And, of course, sound and fire, and that does make sense. But at the same time, again, that caused a problem. They weren't in sync now in the comics and also in the shows that they were always in sync to a certain degree due to they were always just extremely powerful force to begin with, and they just needed one another, sort of like how Venom needed Eddie and Eddie needed Venom. So again, there are certain things about that in the entirety of the movie that I was kind of like, really, I wasn't too sure about that. And again, there wasn't a lot of action in this. I thought there would be, and that kind of disappointed me as well. The only times that we really got any kind of action scenes in this movie was when we got to see Eddie take on, Venom / Eddie take on a mugger, and then also trying to handle another character as well, and then also trying to handle Venom versus Carnage at the end, and then of course Carnage breaking out of prison. Now I will say this, they made Carnage look like a damn beast, guys. They did. They made him look like a beast. I'm very happy with the way they made him look. He kept true to not only the way he looked in the games, but in the comics and even, the shows. So I was very happy with that. I think Andy Serkis did a great job about that, as well as Venom looked absolutely phenomenal as well. Now, I think a lot of the comedy did work in this film, because some of the comments I think was just a little like, okay, but it was still funny. And then some of the other things I was kind of like, okay, well, we can get over that. But overall, the comedy was there, and I think that's what did help the movie. But at the same time, I know some people don't enjoy that. Me personally, I did. I think it was personally fine. I don't think it was a huge big deal. And then I know that there was some other things that I know people were complaining about. Again, I think this was kind of stupid, but at the same time, I do understand the reason why they did that was because there's a scene where I don't know if it was a Halloween party or an LGBTQ plus party, whatever it was. Venom got out of Eddie, started jumping bodies to go have fun because he wanted to live life without Eddie. He wanted to be able to do things without Eddie. And then, he was like, it's like, oh, he hid me and he was ashamed and all this. It was like, okay, one, y'all are not gay, and two, it's because you need each other because you're a alien symbiotic that relies on a human host. It has nothing to do with your sexual orientation. So again, I don't know what the purpose of that was. I don't know if that was Andy Serkis. If there was a reason behind that, obviously you should always be proud of who you are, but at the same time, you should not always bring something like that into a film when there's really no reason to. Also, at the same time, I think them using Shriek the way they did was kind of a waste of time. I felt like that they could have done a little bit more with her character, showing her off in the symbiote type of way that we know her from the comics. That just wasn't, I would say, the best thing for them to do. Same thing where I don't think they gave Carnage enough screen time to basically show what he can do as a really crazy serial killer / symbiote that we know and love from the comics and the movie, well, not the movies, but the games and the shows and everything, and what he does. And again, his relationship with Shriek really didn't make a whole lot of sense because again, him and Carnage are supposed to be full on symbiotic, almost like him and Eddie, but again, they did not show that in this film. We also got to see Morgan, who is, most of you, if you don't know from the comics, the symbiote host or the human host to the symbiote offspring of Carnage, Toxin. So again, we may see Toxin in the next film because again, we see where he gets kidnapped along with Annie while they are trying to get married, Shriek as well as Cletus Cassidy, and they are wanting an exchange where Carnage wants Venom dead, and of course Shriek wants the cop dead, Mulligan, because that is who shot her, and he lost his hearing when in the beginning of the film. And what we see is at the very end, Shriek dies, and then of course we see where something happens to Mulligan. So we don't know if we're going to be seeing, like, let's say, anti-Venom, because again, his eyes turn white. So again, he may have got some part of the symbiote in him somehow, by whether it had been Carnage or whether it had been Venom itself, because how it transferred was Venom was pissed off because of what Cletus was saying. He bit him. That's how he was able to get the blood inside him. And then how he was able to beat him is when they were able to separate. Venom ate Carnage. And then, of course, bit off Cleus Cassidy's head as well. So as of right now, Cleus Cassidy's not going to return. Neither is Shriek. So we don't know if Mulligan is going to be going as Toxin. Honestly, if they're going to be doing a third one with the way it ended, and especially after the end of the roll credits, with what we see is Eddie and Venom on the run, accepting one another, and at the same time wanting to do things that now at the end of the movie, where they're now on the run, but at the same time in the after credits, we see them going along with the MCU, where again, like I did say, with him talking about other versions of symbiotes and showing him, and then as soon as he does, it's like something happens and they transfer into like another dimension in the multiverse, and then of course he sees Tom Holland Spider-Man, and Venom transforms into Venom and just starts licking the TV and says, "Ooh, yummy" or "tasty." And then as soon as that happens, we see a guy looking at Eddie like, well, "What, dude? Why are you in my room?" And he just kind of looks at him like, So again, we don't know if he's probably not going to be in his same universe due with the events going on in Spider-Man No Way Home. But at the same time, it's going to be rather interesting to see what's going to happen now in Venom 3, as well as also in Spider-Man, and how it's going to consist into Venom 3 and another Spider-Man film. So overall, like I said, I did enjoy Venom Let There Be Carnage to a certain degree. There are things about it, again, I don't think that was needed / did not make sense. But again, I would say to a certain degree, if you don't take it too serious, then you won't have a problem with it. If you find things like that tedious, then again, you will have a problem with this. But again, it's a MCU / Sony film at the end of the day, and I think that they did a good job. Again, to a certain degree, I think it was it as good as the first film? It was good, but I wouldn't say is it the best film of the year? It's a lot better than most of the films that I've seen this year. I will fully admit that. Venom Let There Be Carnage is probably, I would say, the best film thus far that I've seen this year. Again, it's not the best film of the year from what I've seen, but it's probably one of the best films that I have seen thus far. And that is not me trying to be showing kind of favoritism that I'm a Venom fan, or hey, I like the Venom movies. It's just that I'm supporting this movie and I'm supporting the cast. I think Tom Hardy did absolutely magnificent as Venom. Once again, seeing Woody Harrelson come in as Carnage, I think that was a very interesting play. Again, did I enjoy his portrayal of, I would say, Cleus Cassidy? It could have been better, but again, I think there could have been just a little, someone could have been just a little different to play Carnage, which again will probably be at some point later on down the line in our lifetime, because again, this is the first portrayal we got to see of Carnage within cinema, and we may see him again later on. Now, Michelle Williams returning as Annie, I think that was great. Seeing there's a part where she becomes She-Venom again, which was absolutely fantastic. I was very happy that they were able to do that once again. Naomi Harris as Shriek, I think that was an okay part, but at the same time, I really did not see the point of her being into this film. I felt like it was 2 versus 1, but at the same time, it was like 1.5 versus 1. Because Shriek was not able to use her powers with Carnage, because again that would hurt Carnage as well as Venom. So again, there was really no point to help him, because at the same time it's just going to harm him. So again, there was kind of back and forth. So overall, I will say it was a decent film. Was it a great film? Yes, it was. Was it the best film of 2021? Debatable. Would I watch it again? Definitely. Very comical. I enjoyed that. The action, again, could have been a little bit better. Some things I don't see the reason why there should have been in the film. I like the ending. I like the way that the after credits was as well. So again, Venom 2 Let There Be Carnage, 1 out of 10. I give it a 9 or a 9.5. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with this? Do you disagree with this? Was there things about this film that you enjoyed? Was there things about this you did not enjoy? Either way, let me know down in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed your day, leave a subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Click notifications. That way you guys are always notified, and I'll be seeing you guys on the next one.